look at Indian companies today, and I'm not looking at global companies for the moment, if you look at Indian companies today and how investors and analysts are looking at them, they're looking at 2020-21 as a washout year for earnings. Therefore, what have analysts started doing? They are saying we're looking at FY22 and FY23 as the earnings estimates of what we think they will produce, and we are valuing the companies on that basis. The markets in general, as determined by investors, are taking a medium-term view on overall equities and individual stocks. For FY22, FY23, I would really like the stock called India to be looked at also in the medium term. There is a short-term pain coming out of a health crisis of an unprecedented nature. The way forward is unclear on that in the short run. But if we took a view which is, say, 1 year forward, it would be reasonable to assume that we will have some better answers to cure and or vaccine. And therefore, taking a view on the health pandemic and what it does to short-term growth, it will be very dangerous for taking a longer-term view on a stock called India. And in that context, my advice is let us take, for the short term, measures which are here and now, primarily to protect life and livelihood. And the longer term issue is taking significant measures which will structurally change the nature of Indian growth. We may or may not agree with the Moody's downgrade of Indian rating, including where they have positioned us as on the negative side in terms of view. But I would look at the rationale of some of the points they have said and ask the tough questions. What do we need to get medium-term trend growth better? And that's where the focus of all of us in India should be. We don't have space for a holistic UBI today.
So direct cash transfers,
I would want us to move in that direction, starting with the bottom of the pyramid and then gradually move up as we go forward. Okay, we must move in that direction because I think the future of jobs is a big issue. There is many variables out there, including physical versus digital world, which is changing the nature of jobs, and rural urban rebalancing which is happening in front of us, the need for healthcare, education, different kind of jobs, different skills, and there will be interim shocks for people from the job point of view, and we need to revisit jobs. At the same time, I think we need flexible labor policy for business and industry to be competitive. So the answer is the need for a safety net.
So a social security system.
Displacement of people out of all these changes at the same time. And that safety net should be our first step towards a broader plan of getting towards a wider safety net, which may be called as universal basic income over time. It's a journey. We have to get going. There is certainly no fiscal space for a full-fledged UBI today. But this is the time. And I think the pandemic is going to change the perspective of most people in India, because we have an obligation that every Indian must have a fair chance of life and livelihood.
Do you suspect that there will be structural changes in the lending industry, banks and NBFCs?
Undoubtedly, we are going to see across sectors, not just the financial sector, the broader Indian economy, consolidation as an inevitable part of the future.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on what that consolidation might look like, at least for the financial sector?
I think I'll give the example of the telecom sector. 13 became 3. So I'm saying that was intense. That was 25%, 30% survived. I don't think it gets that intense across different sectors, but it will be a percentage of the total base. It's like my saying that not all boats will get to the other side. There are some boats which will find it a challenge to get to the other side. And that is where I think the issue is, what does the government need to save? I'll answer your question with a question. Let's look at the airline sector. does the government on the margin need to save airline number 5, whoever it is, or put that money into medium-term healthcare? An answer to that question tells you about the future of a consolidated industry.